I want to thank everyone for joining today in celebration of America 250 and for everyone being a part of this conversation. It's a reminder that our nation was born from courage, a reminder that first responders, families, public servants, quiet heroes, all the people, no matter what background of the world we come from, where we are from, we are all American. As a reminder, as Benjamin Franklin had said, as a warning to all of us, is like, what do we have? We have a republic if we can keep it. So as America approaches 250 years of independence, may we remember where we come from, honor those who carried us here, and seriously take our responsibility to our nation and this country forward. So to all of our guests, thank you for joining today. To our veterans and families, thank you. So I want to introduce and kick it off by starting with everyone here. So why don't everybody go around and tell us a little bit about yourselves? Let's start with you, sir. Thank you for joining the call today. Give us a little bit about your background.
I'm Judge Tom Munley. I live in Jessup. I've been judge for the last 19 years. Actually, I just retired a little while ago, but I'm still doing some work. I'm an Army veteran. Spent 11 months and 5 days in the infantry in Vietnam, and that's about it.
We thank you
and I
for
live in, And I live in Jessup, and my colleagues live in Archibald and Dixon City, so we're really Americans.
Yes. We're glad to have you with us, Judge Tom. Jerry, how about yourself?
Hi, John. Everybody, I am a teacher in the Scranton School District. I have been a teacher in the Scranton School District for 26 years. I taught 5 years before that at the old Bishop Hannon High School, which is currently closed. I'm a Scranton, Lackawanna County resident all my life, except for the 4 years I was gone away to college at Elizabethtown in Lancaster. I also have another job where I work for the American Exchange Project, where we move kids around the country from our community to cities around the country. And July 8th to the 15th, I will have 9 students from around the country who will be coming to Scranton, Lackawanna County. And myself and my partner, Mike, will be working on this and showing them our wonderful area. So that's what I do. And I play a lot of golf.
Just on the side, right? All right, Jerry and Judge, thank you. And how about yourself, Michael? Michael, tell us a little bit about your background.
Sure, John. First, I'd like to start by thanking Judge Munley for his service to the country and to Jerry for his service and work he's doing with the children. I think that is pretty great, what you're doing. Myself, I am a husband, a father, adult volunteer with scouting, other volunteer activities, and for work, I work in information security as leader at Delaware Valley University, where I plan, coordinate, and lead their cybersecurity program.
Excellent.
Very good.
Excellent, Michael. Thank you for joining us. Yes, thank you. Excellent. So we all want to acknowledge everyone's efforts and everyone for joining this call today as we celebrate America 250. So when we talk about America 250, what does that mean? And I'm not going to pick on Jerry first, but Jerry, why don't you start us off?
I think it's a tremendous celebration of what we've come through. I mean, if you go back and look at our history from 1776 and even the decade, you can say before that, with the trials and tribulations of the acts of Parliament, it's just been a remarkable journey. It has its tremendous ups, it has its incredible downs. And through all of it, we find a way to persevere and to look to the future to be better. And I think that's what the story of America is it's a constant story of hope. And it's a constant story of us trying to be better and better ourselves.
That is exactly how I bet a lot of us feel on this call. And I want to go around and also talk about, so Judge, when we talk about America 250, it's not just a birthday we're celebrating. What does America 250 mean to you?
Well, first of all, John, I'm sitting on the front porch of my house, and I'm free to do that. Believe it or not, now that I'm done being a judge, as I said, I do a little work, but not any legal work. All I really do is marry people now in my retirement age. I marry people constantly as a former judge, but what it means to me is that I can have all the freedoms in the world to do things that I want to do. You know, I've been studying the history of one of the worst countries in the world, North Korea. I'm studying World War II now, and in the history of North Korea, I'm studying. It's one of the worst countries in the world. There's absolutely no freedoms for people in North Korea. They can't do a thing. They can't do anything. If they do, there was one school teacher, and one of our guests, a school teacher, he let the students out of school early on a certain day I swear to goodness, he was executed for letting the kids out of school early. I mean, this is crazy what's going on in this world. So I sit on this porch. My friends are in Archibald, they're in Blakely. I mean, they're Archibald and Dixon City. We're enjoying life. I'm going in the house and have breakfast with my wife, or lunch, I mean, with my wife as soon as this is over. And in North Korea, they don't even have food to eat unless you live in the capital of North Korea. They have food. The people out on the other, there's 21 million people there. They can't. Most of them can't even eat.
It's really a testament to everything that we want to talk about today, with just
Right.
everything that goes into being an American. So, and then I want to bring Michael into the conversation. Mike, what does thinking about America 250, our birthday of our nation and independence, what does it mean to you?
Well, to expand on what Judge Munley and Jerry have said, freedom. We have that freedom to make different choices, the education you pursue, the career you want to pursue, where you want to live, what you want to do. And a lot of that, I believe, we owe to the people, those who have come before us and are present with us now, who continue to uphold and strive for the ideals of freedom and what our country represents.
Absolutely. When we hear the word America, they may think of the red, white, and blue, the stars and stripes, the anthem, our hometowns that we all come from, family member who served, a holiday, a church, a baseball field, a firehouse, a childhood memory. America is not just something that we study. It's something people feel. What is the first image, memory that comes to mind when you think about America? So who would like to go first? What's the first?
John, if I could say something very quickly.
Absolutely.
I think about our American flag. I think about the flag on a daily basis. I have a flag flying right in front of my house. I think about it all the time. This morning, I read where some lady was just not elected, she was nominated. She's a socialist nominated for Congress on the Democratic Party. She's a Democratic socialist. She was nominated for Congress. She beat an incumbent congressman. She's going to be running in November in the general election. And she made a statement. She said, you know what the American flag means to me? I dry my hands with it instead of using a paper cloth when I wash my hands. That's how sickening these people are. And I can't take it. When I hear things like that, it just upsets me to no end. When I think of all my friends who died in Vietnam right next to me, and I think of this lady said, I dry my hands with the American flag. What a disgrace.
It's really I could use the word uncouth, but it's really something that we have the freedom of expression in our country. But when you hear statements like that, it really makes you think. What do you think, Jerry and Michael?
Michael, feel free to go first.
I think the flag is, expanding on what Judge Munley said, is a symbol of our shared history and the ideals we strive to uphold. It flew over the Rocky Summit at Iwo Jima, was flown in over smoke and ash at Ground Zero. It was on the moon. It draped the Green Monster in Boston after the Boston Marathon bombings, rallying a city in grief. It has stood silently over heroes' graves, waved proudly in the hands of children at parades, and it flew tall above sporting stadiums, office buildings, and schools throughout our country.
That's right.
It's right. It waves every day through storms, across foreign lands, across places of people that sacrifice everything to give us what we can do and pursue in this great country. When you hear the word America or just see the American flag, what does it mean to you?
If you think about it, it's the first thing we kind of do every day. I mean, I get to school, and one of the first things we do is we do the pledge. I don't even know how many flags hanging from in my classroom. I have flags from 100 countries that I got on Amazon to represent the countries of the kids who are in my classrooms. I don't even know how many American flags I have in my room. It's just, you think about the sporting events and you think about all this stuff. It's the first thing we do. We stand up for the national anthem. We stand up for the pledge. I just went to a Yankee Red Sox game in the 7th inning. We did God Bless America. So it seems to be not just the flag itself, but the songs. And there's a lot of songs that go with it that also inspire us. That inspiration is something that you can say about everybody in this country. We always find something that's going to build us up. And the flag seems to be the starting point.
The flag does appear to be the most potent symbol of our freedom, our democracy, of everyone, of people that have sacrificed so much, those that are known and unknown. I would like to see more people be so vocal about the flag and what it means and that unity. And right now, I would love to see even more. We're talking about America 250, but it's really an everyday thing, like Jerry was saying. It really is the first thing that comes to mind, the students saying the pledge and how important that is. And in my opinion, I think there should be even more schools and more places of government and universities doing as such. You know, we're a nation based on faith, when endowed by our creator, and our rights don't come from government, they come from our creator. That is so embedded to the bedrock of our country, as long as our religious freedoms too. So from our history, so from the Declaration of Independence to the Constitution to all the conflicts that we've been a part of, all the wars that were fought for freedom, that were fought for either expansion or bettering our country. When you think about 1776 to 2026, what truly stands out to you about the American experiment, the American story?
If you don't mind, what stands out from no, I have to say, it might get some people might not agree with me, but I agree with the fact that we had to get involved in different wars. I agree with that wholeheartedly. I spoke out against the Vietnam War, even when I was in Vietnam. To me, that was a waste of time, a waste of over 58,000 lives. Sometimes we just get involved in things we shouldn't get involved in. But we have soldiers that are my heroes from World War II, Korea, Vietnam, Iraq, Afghanistan. And I do a TV show every single day on veterans, and I have these people on my show. But I think America sometimes makes mistakes. Now, John, I'm going to say something, and I don't know the facts of this, but I will say that in 1965, I think the first person died in Vietnam. In 1975, the last person died. 10 years, Americans were dying in Vietnam. That's over 58,000 people. I would like to find out how many U.S. senators and how many U.S. congressmen in those 10 years ever lost a son or daughter. I would bet to say not one of them did. I would bet to say that because they don't send their kids to die. They send people like me over there to die. And that's a brazen comment, but I had to say it.
Understood. So happy to have anybody's thoughts on that, Judge. That's a great comment. How many legislators or people that are elected lost sons or daughters in Vietnam? I would like to know that myself.
Yeah, I would like to know it too, and I'd say none. I might be wrong, but I would say none. I don't know if
Understood.
one. Yeah, all right. But
Yeah.
anyway, the other World War II was necessary. I'll be honest. Stuff, but not the Vietnam War. To me, that was a political decision. It was a waste of time and a waste of American lives.
Understood. Oh, thank you for your input, Judge. Appreciate it. Absolutely. How about you, Michael? When you think about America from 1776 to 2026, what stands out to you about the American story?
The people, the heroes, the soldiers, the veterans that have gone and fought in the wars, starting from our founding fathers who were above their time, who were beyond their time at that period, coming up with the Constitution, giving us certain inalienable rights, the Declaration of Independence, freedom of speech, freedom of the press, right to bear arms, protected us against unreasonable searches, for example.
Search and seizures. Yep.
Search and seizures, going on up through to the Revolutionary War, George Washington crossing the Delaware, staying at Valley Forge, the War of 1812, the Civil War, where a lot of soldiers may have even fought family against family in it. World War I, where we had soldiers fighting in Bella Wood, for example. World War II, people who lost their lives at Pearl Harbor, stormed the beaches of Normandy, fought in places such as India, Burma, North Africa, throughout Europe, the Korean conflict, Vietnam, where soldiers fought in the thick brush and hot jungles, going through the fight for freedom and against terror after the 9/11 attacks, and those who still serve today the arsenal of democracy.
Yep.
So I would say the people.
The people. Well, it was a quote, I believe it was by President Nixon. It's like our America is great because our people are great. And I don't think they're just great. I think they're exceptional. I know America is an exceptional nation, a true shining city on a hill. Jerry, so when you think about 1776 to 2026, what stands out to you?
Well, you just mentioned every war. I can't go there. One of the things that I teach in my classroom is, as I'm teaching the amendments, is how important they are to the kids, and the kids today sometimes really don't feel like they have a place. They feel like they're being drowned out, and you have to show them that they have rights. Teaching them First Amendment cases and speech, press, assembly, religion, petition. Actually, I said that right. I apologize. Religion, assembly, press, petition, and speech. And the reason I say that is because it teaches the kids a phrase, RAPPS, like because they like rap music. So to remember their raps, it's religion, assembly, press, petition, and speech. And all of a sudden from that, they start to get a grasp as to like, wait, this does apply to me. And then you start going through the court cases, as good as bad or as they are. And you could talk about the burning of the flag in Texas versus Johnson. You know, one person looks at it as a great moment, and other people look at it as a horrendous moment. But that's what America is. It's that fight on both the good and the bad side. And I love teaching the court cases. And I even go back to, geez, I'm going to lose all my thoughts right now with all the court cases that I teach. I apologize. But you go back and you look at them and how people fought in the courts to get their rights. And to me, that's where a lot of it begins, because you really don't know what is yours until you fight for it or until you lose it. And when you think it's gone. And the one thing about Americans is we don't back down. You know, if we think we lost something good, bad, or indifferent, we're going to fight for it. And sometimes it ends up in the courts. Sometimes it ends up in the Supreme Court. Sometimes, I should say, and most of the time, it just ends up in your local city hall. And giving the kids that opportunity to know what their rights are, that's the one thing that really America stands on, is us fighting for what we believe to be right. Good, bad, or indifferent.
That is a great viewpoint, Jerry. Yeah, and I know all the interactive ways that you take that to your classroom as a teacher, an educator, and it's so fundamental and so important. And those kids are really, really fortunate to have you as their teacher, their mentor, somebody that could teach them about not just a course or a subject, but life. And it's pivotal to America 250. Again, everything is a foundation.
I think that my colleagues are very correct in what they said, and I listened intently. Very good comments.
Awesome. So now we have a specific section for any veterans on the call. And we know Judge Munley is a veteran, a Vietnam vet, a judge. So, Judge, now, as all of your years of being involved in the legal field, the industry, and as a veteran, now, what do you think that Benjamin Franklin meant when he said, "A republic, if you can keep it"? I would love your perspective.
I read the history of Ben Franklin several years ago, and he was one of the greatest Americans who ever lived, in my opinion. Unfortunately, because we're the keeper of the whole world, and again, I don't want to be redundant. I don't want to get into things about war, but it seems like we're the peacekeepers in the whole world. We have to go here, we have to go to this country, we have to go to Afghanistan, Iraq. Now we're in Iran. I'm so sick of all this stuff that we see. It seems like that we have to do. It bothers me in the sense that I don't want it to lose any more American lives, but to protect democracy, to protect freedom, I guess that's what people in Washington are saying we have to do. I'll go back to the point I said before. Send somebody else over there to serve your country. Just make sure my kids don't go. That sounds very cynical, John. But ever since I got back from Vietnam and I got in line to get gas, and the guy threw me out of line. He said, "Where were you the last year?" Because there was a big gas crisis. He wouldn't even give me gas. And I said, "I was serving my country." He said, get out of the line. That's what he told me. He didn't even care. And I never forgot that, John. That's what happened to me. People were short on gas then. And he said, I waited in line 20 minutes. He said, "Get out of line." He said, "You weren't here the last year. I'm serving people who were here." And I was in Vietnam then, but he didn't care. He threw me out.
What do people misunderstand most about service from serving our country?
No, people don't understand. When you put on the uniform, it said, I didn't want to go into service. I'll be honest with you. I was a school teacher, but I decided to go to law school. As soon as I decided to go to law school, I was told I was going to be drafted. So then I said, all right, I volunteered for the draft. I said, all right, just draft me. I was happy being a school teacher, but I figured I could make more money. School teachers, and one of my colleagues is a school teacher, you don't get paid enough money. I'll be honest with you. But I wasn't getting paid enough money, so I left, and I got drafted immediately. I volunteered for I got drafted immediately. But you know what? What happened was I figured, since I'm a school teacher, I'll never go in the infantry. I'll be in Paris, France. I'll be in London, England at a desk job. right in the infantry, right in the infantry. As soon as I went to basic
Wow.
training and infantry training, right into Vietnam for 11 months and 5 days. And I said to myself when I got back, oh, by the way, I tried to get my teaching job when I got back. I want to tell my friends, or I tried to get my teaching job back. I figured, I'm back. I made it home alive. The principal said to me, and I'm not going to say where, he said, we hired somebody in your spot. I said, well, wait a minute. I didn't go to jail. I went to Vietnam. I served 2 years in the United States Army. I want my teaching job back. You know what he said? If you want your job back, sus. That's what he said to me. And because they hated Vietnam vets for some reason. So I got mad, and I figured, okay, forget about teaching. I'm going to go to law school. And that's just how I went to law school.
That is such an incredible start to a journey. That's I don't know if much else can compare to that
That's
to
a
that
true
type of
story.
yeah.
And I'm
That's
sorry hearing stories like that, where a
Yeah.
lot of people who have returned from Vietnam were not honored nor thanked.
Not at all. Nobody cared. Nobody cared one bit. I thought about all my friends who died in Vietnam. I went to the Vietnam Wall. Nobody cared. That's just the way it was.
that's very, very, very unfortunate.
I'll never
That
forget
should
that
never
guy.
have happened.
That guy who threw me out of the line when I was waiting for gas. I never talked to him again.
Well, it's quite a reason not to.
Yeah.
Even if you did run into that person again. What does the brunt of the family deal with, like when you were over there serving our country?
The family suffered because you don't. Well, first off, I want to just say this. I got stuck in the infantry, but out of every 100 guys that go to Vietnam, 90 of them don't even pick up a gun. Only 10 out of 100 go in the infantry. 90 of them are in the rear doing work on paperwork mostly. They're not in the infantry, but the 10 guys who get stuck in the infantry, they're the ones, the families suffer like heck because they don't know from day to day if they're going to come home or not. They don't know if somebody's going to come to their house, knock on their door and say, oh, we're sorry to tell you your son or daughter's lost. And that's the thing I want to tell you. It's the fear of it. And I'm telling you, and I'm sure I have my sons are grown up. They were not in the service, but I have one that's 26 years old. And I'm thinking to myself, like, they better not renew that draft because I don't want, I'll be honest with you. I didn't want him to go into the service. Thank goodness we have a volunteer army now. So nobody's getting drafted on a regular basis.
Because the families often bear the brunt of either
Suffer.
they suffer, actually bear the brunt. No, they suffer having a military family as well as myself. My brother just retired this year of serving 24 years in the Army.
John, my 19 years as a judge, I was a lawyer 31 years, but my 19 years as a judge, how many divorces I handled from people, servicemen who were overseas a couple of years and they came home and they ended up getting divorced. It's just a tough situation.
I'm sure the Vietnam War changed your life and it inspired you to it started you to change your life in a lot of ways,
Right,
to go to
right.
law school and better yourself, and even giving you the opportunity to pursue your potential. That's what our great country does. It gives folks the opportunity to do that. As a vet that served, and we're celebrating 250 years of our country, has your definition of freedom changed with the times?
No, I'm an old man, but from the day I was born, I was free in this country, the best country in the world, the most honorable country in the world. Everything was free around freedom and no restrictions. So to me, like I said, I could walk. You know what I love, John? I love walking around the block. Sometimes actually I go to Dixon with my wife. We take walks in Dixon City. I just happen to love, first of all, I can't move out of this area. I love this area ever since I was born. I still live in the same town I was born in, Jessup, PA. But I love Dixon. I love Archibald. Half my relatives, I have relatives in Archibald. I just love this area. And to me, freedom is freedom. It never changed.
Absolutely. Michael, Jerry, do you want to add to that? Anything you would like to add?
I would. If you don't mind, Jerry, do you have something?
Go fire away, Michael.
Well, as Judge said about this area, it is a really great area. My wife, she is originally from Brazil, went through a naturalization process, and she fell in love with this area too. And one of the coolest moments, I think, was when she had her naturalization ceremony. It was down in Philadelphia, and seeing people from all over the world with their families. Everyone was one, Americans. When
That's
they were
right.
going through the ceremony, giving saying the Pledge of Allegiance, giving their citizenship oath, there were people with tears coming down their eyes
Right.
and down their cheeks. It was a very touching moment. Everyone was celebrating together, taking pictures, memorable day. And I'm not a big TV person or social media person, but I've seen some images and videos of visitors for the World Cup. And everyone seems to be having a great time celebrating, enjoying what the United States and America has to offer.
Darn right.
Michael, the videos of the Tartan Army of Scotland parading through
Yes.
Boston have just
Yeah.
been epic. And I guess there was the Boston Herald posted a full page ad to Scotland and said, thank you, memories we'll never forget. So then Scotland posted a letter into the Boston Herald, said, you are more than welcome to come to Scotland. And it's just been amazing, watching the World Cup and
You're
how
right.
much people have come here and they love America. And I guess there's a fascination now with ranch dressing or something like that. I saw an article about that.
How about they ran out of beer? How about they ran out of beer? And
Yeah.
they down were going crazy.
Yeah. When the guy from Scotland said Sam Adams beer is the best beer he's ever had in his life, I lost it. So I wore my Sam Adams shirt just for the fun of it. Yeah. So
I enjoy seeing those
Yeah.
videos and people enjoying the country and the
Yeah.
people of our country.
I think we get lost in all of the freedoms that we have, and we not disregard them, but we really don't understand the true cost of the freedom that we're blessed to have with each and every day. You can work, not work, you can have a job, you can change your profession, you can change what you want to do. You want to go to school, you want to start a business. And that's the beauty of America. That is the heart of it, paid through by blood, sweat, and tears of veterans that have come and gone in their experiences, just like Judge Munley's experience. And I think we need to do more in honoring those heroes, those veterans, the quiet heroes, our military, our police, our firemen, and the people that make our country work, like the plumbers, the carpenters, all the people that do the work that keep America running. And that is also a very important part of America 250, because without them, none of this works. Like the school teachers, the first responders, the veterans, all of that. And I think that type of country, and that's the shining city on a hill that we are as people, as Americans, is unlike anywhere else in the world. Like, we're Americans. And there was a quote from Ronald Reagan that said it'd be like, you can go to France, but you can't become a Frenchman. You can go to Ireland, but you can't become an Irishman. But you can come to America and become an American. And that is, in a nutshell, what America 250 means to me. I asked everybody, now I'm putting my thoughts out there. And, I think we can love America, that we can, and be honest about the challenges that we still face. We're not perfect. Our founders weren't perfect people. They were imperfect people, imperfect men. But they did something exceptional. They challenged the world. They changed the world. And these were people that some weren't even 20, 23, 25 years old, 18-year-old people changing the world, creating a constitution, a declaration to change the whole makeup of the entire world. But that's what America 250 means to me. So I want to open the floor up.
I have a poster on my wall that sits above where all the students can see, from Margaret Mead, that says, never doubt that a thoughtful group of committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that has. And I love that quote, because we are a nation of immigrants. I mean, my mother's family came from Ireland. My father's came from Poland. They lived 3 blocks from each other and met in first grade and married, and lived and were married for 63 years. I sit in my classroom and I see how my classroom has changed over the past 25 years. And the kids who sit in front of me, and they come here because they want to be a part of this. Whether they even shipped over or not, they want to be a part of this process. And right now, I have a kid who's in Los Angeles on American Exchange. I have a kid who just went to Alaska because of American Exchange. And they're getting to see this country, and they're starting to love it more and more. We need to get out of the bubble that we live in and see what America is. And America is so many different things. We're not just our little town. As much as we love our town, we are so much more than that. And that's the one thing that I love about teaching.
Incredible.
I have a lot of thoughts on different things, John. But Mike, believe it or not, one of my happiest years was teaching school. I taught sixth, seventh, and eighth grades, and I was so happy doing that. And now I'm going to tell you something I didn't tell anybody really. I was a lawyer 31 years. I was never really happy being a lawyer. I loved being a judge. I won't lie about that. But if I had to pick any profession that I loved the most, it wasn't a lawyer. It was being a school teacher. And I was only there 1 year, unfortunately.
Now,
Had that principal giving me my job back as a school teacher, I would have stayed there my whole life.
what did you like the most about that 1 year of teaching? Like,
I'll
what
tell you
gave
what.
you the most joy?
I'll tell you what I used to love going in there. And I was teaching history. I was teaching social studies. I was teaching English. I was teaching. When you teach at that level, you teach different. You teach almost everything. I'm going back to 1968, 69, and that's how old I am, gentlemen. So anyway,
That's how young you are,
you
Judge.
guys weren't
That's how
even
young you
born.
are.
You guys weren't even born then. But anyway, to make a long story short, I used to think all these kids that all these kids that I was teaching. I was only 21 years old then when I started teaching. All these kids were 12 years. They're all 8 or 9 years younger than me, or 10 years younger than me. I see them all the time in Jessup, Peckville, Archibald, because that's where I was teaching at that. It wasn't Valley View then; it was just high school. But now I see all the kids that are living Jessup, Peckville, Archibald, Dixon. And they always say, "Oh, they say, Judge Munley, I love that year we had with you. I enjoyed it so much. Makes me feel like $1 million. It was a great year."
Yeah,
And you don't hear that as a lawyer, because half the people hate you and half the people like you. Yeah.
Judge, I was too.
and it just hits such a pivotal point of what we're talking about. It's just like what gives people the joy of what they do in this great country. I know we've heard from Jerry and we've heard from Judge. So Michael, what do you have? What are your thoughts on, like, really what makes a difference in what you do each and every day for the profession you're in, and what gives you the most joy of living out the American dream here in our country?
Well, from a professional work standpoint, with information security, a cyber attack could destroy businesses and ruin lives. And I feel that it does society good to be able to prevent and detect and respond to any kind of cyber attack. Cybersecurity is now a matter of national security. If we get into any conflicts, our adversaries are going to be going after the computer systems of our critical infrastructure, water utilities, electric utilities, defense contractors, the government. So I believe that field does provide value to society. In America, because of freedom, I have the choice of being able to transition from an IT background into a cybersecurity background. And I believe America gives everybody the choice to pursue their hopes, dreams, whatever they may be, whatever they may want to accomplish.
America gives everybody the opportunity. We give everyone a chance. There's a chance to make a difference, whether that's in the private sector, in government, you want to start an organization, you want to make better communities. And in some countries, in this country, we have freedom of speech. We have the freedom to assemble. We have all those wonderful freedoms paid for by the veterans that serve and the first responders and police that ensure that those freedoms occur here in our country. And when we think about America 250 and what we are as Americans, I can't think of anything more fitting that we celebrate the biggest birthday of the greatest country on God's green earth. And we owe a debt of gratitude to everybody that's come before us, that have served and continues this American experiment, but with all the greatness and everything that we've achieved in our country and the world, what are some of the concerns that we feel of where we are as a country? Where's the goodness that we see, and where's the confidence in some of the challenges that we have? Jerry, what do you think some of the challenges we have?
My biggest problem with the schools is the funding of the school, the lack of funding for the programs that we have and to keep kids in school. I see it every day, and you have teachers who are very much disillusioned with the process, and there's teachers who are bailing out of the process because of the overwhelming workload that has been thrown upon us. And, this is the only profession I've ever wanted. Like I told you the last time we chatted, I met David Brennan, and he was my hero as a teacher, and I loved what he did, and I've carried that torch. But I'm not going to be able to find, 300 teachers who are going to replace me and the other teachers who are going to leave just in my district alone and all the other districts around us, because we're at a tipping point when it comes to education. And there seems to be a fight over, should we give the money and should there be private schools and vouchers and so on and so forth. And it irritates me because public school is what built this country. I'm sorry, I just firmly believe that. And I went to Catholic school. My parents sent me to Catholic school. And what I've learned about in public school is that these are the kids, the Americans, the kids who fight for everything, who live in rich and poverty and all over the place. And the lack of funding for education is a real problem, at least in my eyes. And if the education is now going to come from TikTok and Instagram, man, we got issues. So, because that's not where their education should be coming from. And I start to worry about that, So that's my big issue. But that's my profession. And I will fight for my profession until the day I die.
What Jerry said is 100% correct, John. I agree with him. He's right.
Absolutely so. And Michael, what do you feel? Do you feel that education is definitely a challenge going forward for just America to continue our experiment of this great country?
Yes, and to expand on what Jerry was saying, teaching and education is a very noble and honorable profession. I know plenty of teachers have had a positive impact on my life, just as I'm sure Jerry's had a very positive impact on his students' life. And social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok is not the best place to learn. And from a parent's perspective, my son has had some very good teachers. I greatly appreciate them and the work they have done, and feel that teachers need more incentive to stay in the profession. Everything cost is going up for everybody. And we need teachers to lead us and continue leading our country. And it's saddening when I see people on maybe LinkedIn leaving the profession, because we need good quality teachers such as Jerry to continue educating our youth, letting them know that they control their destiny, letting them know that they have plenty of options.
Inspire that change in one of the most sacred places in our country is the classroom, to learn and to grow and to become professionals and future leaders of industry, government, president, congressmen, senators. And we really have places where are we going to develop that? Where are we going to take that? How are they going to grow the skills if where they learn those things isn't provided as much? And what Jerry does is so important to continuing the American experiment, is just what we get to live and experience every day is different. But each generation receives America in the goodness of America for a certain time. The question is, what do we do with it, right? Like, do we understand it? How do we protect it? How do we improve it? How do we pass it forward together, leaving something better than when we got it, right? So my next question would be, if someone in high school or college or even younger asked why America is still worth believing in today, what would you tell them? What would you want them to understand?
Wow, that's a deep question.
Yeah, and I was thinking, I was thinking, I was in Philadelphia, and some lady was talking, and she said she said to me that she doesn't like the United States. She said, I'm not getting enough money on relief. I'm not getting enough money. I said, well, then why don't you? She was just disparaging the United States in every kind. I said, why don't you just leave if you're not happy with the United States? I said, do you work? She said, of course not. Why would I work? Can you imagine that? That's what she said to me.
I can't imagine it. I can, and also, like, what would we want them to understand so that doesn't become the standard, right? That those kind of conversations become least and more known or more,
that's a good question.
more frequent. What would we want them to understand fundamentally about America, the goodness of America? Like, that's a question.
I think they need to realize that, or the government needs to realize that they work for us.
Yes.
Those three words, we the people, I stress those words nonstop. And when I teach government, as I told you, I teach it from the ground up. I teach how the school board works, and I show the kids how to go to a school board meeting and how to go to a city council meeting. I was just at the county commissioners meeting a week and a half ago, asking them to help me with American Exchange. And when you teach people how the government works, how they get to be a part of the process. Then they stand up and they become a part of the process. The problem is that the government is working for itself right now, and they're finding ways to keep us out or to make us disgusted with it so that we won't show up, and trying to get the kids to go, you get to be a part of this. You know, if I can turn out 300 new voters every year, look out. I mean, like that's a huge change. I'm going to flip elections like crazy if I keep turning out 300 new voters every year. And that's what needs to happen is the government is fighting the people when the government should be working for the people. It's we the people, period. And that's the part that bothers me. So I'm in the classroom. That's the thing I'm fighting for. That's what I'm doing.
That's I don't know if we can put it any more plainly than that. Yes, Judge, you were gonna.
Jerry, where do you teach? In Mid Valley?
No, I teach at Scranton High School.
Scranton High School. Good.
Yeah. What would we want younger generations to remember about America and to believe in that shining city on a hill?
I think we need to have an open dialogue, communication with them. One of the things regarding my experience with scouting is citizenship is a big part of it. And some of the activities we have done with the scouts was we've taken them to the Reading Air Show in usually first week of June every year. We've done that trip a few times where they got to meet and talk to World War II veterans who shared their experiences. They got to see battle simulations, the air shows, as well as volunteer at it. We've also done replacing flags on cemetery graves in May before Memorial Day, as well as participating in flag retirement ceremonies, cemetery cleanup. We're giving back. We also did recently a trip to Gettysburg where they got to see the battlefields and hike it. And while we're doing it, we're reading through a book. What happened in this spot? What happened there? Try and picture yourself in this scenario. What would you do if you saw your brother or a cousin or a neighbor fighting on the other side? So we tried to make it interactive, engaging with them, and explain our history and the importance of citizenship and the positive impacts that we could have. We've had some of our scouts go and speak at school board meetings, and we are looking to expand on that.
And that is excellent.
If you show the kids that it works for them, that they have a place, then they'll believe that they have a place. And the problem is that we seem to be shutting them down more than we're building them up. And we need to start building people up. And we're not. That's an issue.
That's such a great
Michael,
point.
I love what you're doing. Michael, that's awesome.
Appreciate the kind words.
Yeah.
I always wanted to go on a hike, but I'm always afraid I'm going to get attacked by a bear.
And no, this is really great. And I also I just want to go into another segment we have. It's just like when we say American heroes, right? We often think of famous names, presidents, generals, founders, Medal of Honor recipients, historic leaders, right? And they deserve to be remembered. But America's been carried by quiet heroes for a very long time. Teachers, first responders, veterans, again, teachers like Jerry, veterans like Judge Munley, and also folks that are doing just like what Michael was saying, is leading a Boy Scout troop. And also being a part of that conversation, the civics part of it, and the involvement. So, what do you think America needs to be doing a better job at honoring these heroes? And I want this question first to go to Judge Munley as a veteran. Judge, you've seen acts of courage, I'm sure, in combat that I don't know how you explain it, but
well, if I could just say one story, you talk about heroes. Like a lot of people say, "Oh, football players are heroes." I mean, I love football. I love baseball. I love basketball, but they're really not my heroes. I mean, they're great. They're great in what they do, but they're not my heroes. My heroes, I can tell you. Well, I'll tell you one guy. His name is James. I won't even say his last name, but he
okay.
The day I arrived in Vietnam, they put me on a helicopter and took me out to way out in the field, and they took me off. They actually told me to get out of the helicopter before they landed because they were afraid that the helicopter would hit a landmine. So I was about 2 feet off the ground. I got off the helicopter. Actually, they pushed me just about, and then I walked over to a big tree line, and there was this guy there from Missouri, and he said, "What's your name?" And he said to me very quickly. I told him my name. He said, "You're scared, aren't you?" I said, "Scared isn't the word." I said, "Are you kidding me? I have a whole year of this." And he said, "You know what he said to me?" He said, "You stay by me. I only have 8 months left. He said, you stay by me and I'll make sure you stay alive. And I stuck by that guy for 8 months. And I'm convinced he's the one who kept me alive. And let me just tell this, because Jerry mentioned the county commissioners, about when I was a judge about 10 years ago, I called this guy in Missouri who kept me alive. And I said, I called the county commissioners in Lackawanna County. We're going to have, I'll tell you a name, James Lee Stevens Day in Lackawanna County. Well, how could they say no to a judge? And I called the commissioner. I said, I want James Lee Stevens Day in Lackawanna County. So they said, okay, Judge, we'll do it. So I called him in Missouri. I said, Jim, get a couple bus loads to have James Lee Stevens Day in Lackawanna County. He said, to honor you for what your service. And then the poor fella, when I called him about 2 weeks before, they said he just passed away from lung cancer. So we never made it. But the thing is, that you talk about a hero, that's my hero. He was fearless and he kept me alive. So that, to me, if you had to pick out a hero, that's who I'm picking out. Not baseball players, football players, or basketball players. I'm picking out that guy.
A real hero.
Yeah.
A real hero. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's one hell of a journey. I think it defines what a hero
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
in every letter of the word. I might even say it's what America symbolizes. You know, Jerry, what do you consider a hero as we celebrate America 250?
It's ironic what Judge Mundley said is because, growing up as a kid, you're always looking at, the athletes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, all those people let me down. Like they cheated, they broke the rules and stuff.
Right.
Yeah. And I was so disillusioned with all of them. After a while, I stopped just, not supporting them, but, I still watch football. I still do this and support the teams. But it took a while, and when you grow up, you fight your parents and you fight your grandparents because you think you're smarter than all of them, because that's what kids do. So what I realized is that my heroes were in front of me, and they are Loretta Osborne Toole, my grandmother, Jerome Toole, my grandfather,
Right.
my mom and dad, Margaret Mary Skaleski, Michael Skaleski, and my sister Susan, my brothers Michael, David, Tommy, and Billy. Those are the people who are around me. They support me. They are the people I count on, and they count on me. And it took a long time for me to say that I am my father's son, but I say it a lot now. And those are really the people who got me to where I am, who have taught me, how to be, a good person and to bring that over into the classroom. So they've become my heroes, and that's what heroes are. They are the people who stand behind you. They don't stand behind you. I apologize. They stand next to you. Okay?
Right.
And it doesn't always have to be family. It could be that friend of yours that you met in first grade that is still standing there.
Yeah.
And I have those people too. I do. The list can be endless, I guess, if I really wanted to, but I have a lot of people who I stand next to, and my family is the one who got me here. So they're my heroes.
All right. Good point.
What a great point. And how about Michael? How about what do you consider a hero?
I'm going to go with the everyday American. For me, it was my parents, my grandparents, aunts, uncles, my wife, as well as expanding on that. I'm going to say the first responders, the people the unsung heroes of America, I'm going to say, the unnamed unsung heroes, people, mothers, fathers, sons and daughters, brothers and sisters, those who may have sacrifices remain unseen and burdens that are being borne by them that consume them, and the everyday American who does stuff for the betterment of their family and their community.
That's an excellent point.
Very
Excellent.
The person who puts their shopping cart back where it's supposed to be.
And I do that every time I go up to Wegmans. I put it right back where it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And
you're absolutely right, Michael. Those are the people that you don't know. It's the person who holds the door for you,
Yeah.
and you stand there and you say thank you. And, that's a lot of the unsung parts of America that we all get to experience every day, and you carry it on. That's what,
You're right, Jerry. I'm sorry to interrupt. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, we're good.
But I have multiple sclerosis, so I have trouble walking. I walk, but John Zadzura, you helped me walk a lot of times.
Yes, I have.
I can hold on to somebody and walk very well, but I lose my balance when I don't hold on to somebody. John, you helped me walk many times.
Many times. Yes, many times for events, or when
Yeah.
we used to younger, before I even I think right when I graduated high school, getting into college, either just attending some events, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's and I don't, and people do things. I do things to do things. I don't do things for the thank you. I don't do things
I
for
know.
things in return. And I think the more of that happens, people say, pay it forward. Well, we're always paying something forward.
Right.
I want it to be positive, because I want that person to do that for somebody else.
Yeah.
Like I would want that done for me. If something falls or I'm having a hard time, somebody just recently, was either maybe the last month or so, I do a lot of biking. I do a lot of exercise and a lot of working out. So on a recent bike ride that I had, it was a trail in Philadelphia. It's right by Old City. It's off the Christopher Columbus Boulevard. And I got this new bike, and I thought I was a hot shot, right? So I'm riding this bike. I'm trying to pass all these people. So I'm riding the bike, and I hit the pedal, and it does the thing where it snaps off the chain and there's no torque, and the pedal just goes down, right? Over the guardrails, over the handrails, right? Right
Yeah.
on the pavement, right on the pavement. Everybody around, people biking, even the people I tried to pass, stop the bike, check and see I'm okay, stay with me for a bit. I'm like, I'm okay. I just went over, scraped my knee. But a lot of people don't have to do that. People do that because
No.
they want to do that, because they're people that would want that done to them. You're paying it
Yeah.
forward, doing good
That's
things.
right.
And we see that a lot when there's natural disasters and things in our country, and there's people that are either National Guard and people that are just involved, and they set up water stands. They try to reach out and help others, or just help in any way they can. You know, there's so many examples of that in our country, and I think that's, in the end, long past America 250, 100, 350, 500, whatever it is. I think that's going to be our legacy, is that whenever things were needed, we were there to help. But it's just, that's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of the shining city on a hill. So anybody want to chime in with that? It's just, I think that is the unsung heroes of every day, the people that do things like that, and things that we witness every day. They might not get the shout out on the news. They might not get an award, but people that do things to do it, that's exactly the kind of country we are. And as a country, I always see us being. As we close out this episode and this conversation today at the Zadzura Brief, what's the final message that we would leave for future Americans, families, veterans, kids in school, kids in college? What would we want people to feel after listening to our episode today? We'll start with you, Judge.
Well, Jerry made a comment before about the kids in school. You have to make the kids feel like there's some. You can't be saying negative things to people all the time. Like Jerry said, be positive with the kids. Make them feel good. Make them feel upbeat. Make them feel that they're going to be something someday. That's the important thing. Because I'll tell you another thing. Another thing that happened to me when I was in high school. One of the teachers told me, "You're not college material." And I'm thinking, what? Well, why would this teacher say that about me? Because I goofed off a lot and everything, but he just tried to bring me down. I'm thinking to myself, well, it's okay. But I think, like, especially a teacher like Jerry, and he said it, you have to make the kids feel good about themselves. Make them feel that they're going to be something someday. Make them walk home from school and say, you know what? I am going to make it in this world. That's what life is all about, John.
Yep. You might even call it proud to be an American.
Yes, proud
And
to be an American.
proud to be an American, and aspiring to whatever you want to be. And that's the beauty of it. What do you think, Jerry?
Judge, kind of a funny story is when I was a terrible test taker. I will admit it to this day. I was a terrible test taker, and I had
It's okay.
And so I had somebody tell me that I should never be a teacher.
There it is. Yep.
There you go. And so I think I proved them wrong. But yeah, that was so. Yeah, that hit home. That hit hard, and I was like, okay, I need to be better. And so, and here I am, 31 years later.
Yeah.
So what do I think? This is something I tell the kids all the time. There's going to be good times. There's going to be bad times. There's going to be really great highs, and there's going to be incredible lows. And the one thing you need to do is you need to stop and you need to breathe, and you just need to stop and just take a breath and focus. Okay. Chin up, moving forward, better every day. That's what I tell them. And you are going to have some great highs, and this country is going to continue to have some tremendous highs. And we are also going to have some more really bad lows. And the one thing about us is we've come through all of them, and we will keep coming through them. So with the kids every day, just keep moving on. You'll be fine. Just take a breath.
That's great.
That's incredible. And so
That's incredible.
and just so everybody on this call understands, Jerry was told, as he just said, I didn't. We've had other episodes, but it's the first time I've heard like they should never be a teacher. Well, first, I think the person that said that should have their head examined, because I think Jerry's wall, and I don't know if you both know this, Jerry has a wall in his classroom of letters, cards, people just taking time to write and leave him with something, and he pins it to the wall. He has a whole wall of people that said, like, you taught me more about government. You
Right.
believed in me. You inspired me. You continue to inspire me. And I think that's more than any amount of money or any kind of cushy
Right.
job or any kind of anything can, because that's a difference right there.
That's a big difference. Big difference.
That's the difference. So when people say, I don't know if I've made a difference, well, Jerry lives that reality every day, because he has that wall, and even if it wasn't there, it's just people take the time to do that. And that's everything. So Jerry, thank you for your comment. And then Michael.
Well, I loved hearing the story about the wall, Jerry. That is a great story, showing that you're having a positive impact on people's lives. And hearing stories and someone saying you can't do that. I've heard people say that other people have told them. I've even heard people tell me that. And I think the best response to that is the best things to do in life are those that people say you can't do. That's going to give you the most satisfaction, by doing the things that people say you cannot do. I've also had mentors tell me there's going to be the high times, and there's going to be the bad times. It's not how you handle the good times that's going to make you successful, but how you handle the bad times. Though everybody faces them, and it's how you handle them, and focus on the things that you can control, items that are in your control, not what is beyond your control. You can't control the weather, but you can control how you may react to the weather. Have rain gear if it's going to rain. Don't go out if it's going to be a major storm coming. And it's not only, I think Rocky said it, nothing's going to hit you harder than life. It's not about how hard you could hit. It's about how hard you could get hit, and keep moving forward. So keep moving forward. And the people who are telling you you can't do it, prove them wrong. I think it was Henry Ford who said that those who say they can and those who say they can't are both generally right. So be positive, be optimistic, believe in yourself.
What a message.
Yeah.
What a message. What a message.
Yep.
And
Agreed.
yep. And the one thing I want to say is just it's really fitting, as we celebrate America 250, that I could be on such a call with such distinguished folks that have impacts, whether it's in serving our country, teaching our next generation, and helping protect businesses from things that can greatly harm companies that affect families and affect the country. I'm humbled to be in front of such people and make such an impact. And I want to thank each of you for your part in this conversation, because America's 250 it's not just a milestone. It's not an extra large piece of cake. It's not just some fireworks that are going to happen on the 4th. But reminds us that we were all born from courage. Our nation was born from courage. And it's a reminder that our rights come from our creator, not from some government. Again, as Jerry said, it's we the people, and our first responders, our families, our public servants, our veterans, our heroes, our everyday heroes. And going back to Ben Franklin's point, it was like, what do we have? We have a republic if we can keep it. So as we close out our episode today, we talk about independence. We remember them that came before us. We remember all of them. We honor those that carried us to get us here. So to all of our guests, Judge, Jerry, Mike, thank you. And to everybody listening to this episode on the Zadzura Brief, please tune in, watch us. But thank you all for joining our episode today. And for this celebrating our America 250, celebrating our heroes, stay tuned. And
John,
thank you for watching. You sure can. Go ahead.
I just want to say two things. Number one, because you've been helping, my walking is getting better and getting rehab every single week, so I can walk better. But number two, there's an old saying, I didn't make this up, it's hundreds of years ago. Somebody said, worry about what people say about you, and you'll be their prisoner for life. So I've been following that all my life. Worry about what other people say about you, and you'll be their prisoner for life. people talked about me as a judge. You know, if they didn't like my decision, they criticized me. Now with this stupid online stuff, I get it. I still get it today, almost every day. So
The
I can't
keyboard
worry about.
warriors.
Don't worry about what other people say about you. You'll be their prisoner for life. Let them say what they want to say, and that's the way it is. And I think Jerry and Michael will agree with that.
Absolutely.
Judge, I have one question.
Yeah.
When you became a lawyer, did you sue the principal?
You want Jerry? Could I tell you this story, Jerry? You're gonna flip.
Go
Jerry,
ahead.
I was a speaker in Harrisburg. I was a speaker in Harrisburg. I think it was Harrisburg. It was so long ago. Who introduced me but the principal that wouldn't give me the job back? And he said, I want to introduce somebody that I love like a son. That's what he said. I was the principal. I was a lawyer. I was the principal speaker. And he said that. I told him after, I never sued them, but I told him afterwards, don't ever refer to me as your son again. And I told him I reminded him what he did to me. He didn't even remember. True story.
Oh my
He didn't even remember.
No, he didn't remember. No.
Well, I think
Wow.
I think we all leave our unique path and journey on the world, on our country, and we try to make every day better than the last. And just to quote an old Sinatra song, I think at the end of this, when the story is written on each of us, whether that's in the book at the library or in our family albums, I think we all want to go through life doing things and leaving an impact our way. So.
Yeah.
And that's when we write, at least on this end, I always want to be somebody that's positive, somebody that wants to change things, and somebody wants to help others and encourage others. And I want to do it the way I feel it should be done, because there is only one way, and that's through wanting to be better and help others and coach others and develop others.
Yeah.
And everybody on this call does that, whether it's if it's Mike with the Boy Scout troop, it's Jerry with the young minds he changes and educates every day. And then all the lives that Judge Munley has changed through his courtroom appearances and his decisions and his service to our country. So with that, I want to wish everyone a good day, good episode, and thank you all for joining. And we'll be in touch soon. I wish you all a happy 4th.
I just want to clarify one more thing. I said that speech was in Harrisburg. I think it was somewhere around here, but it doesn't matter anyway. But okay, that speech where that guy said that, I think it was here.
Okay.
But anyway, let me say something to Jerry and Michael. What an honor to be on with Jerry and Michael. You two guys are amazing. And John, you're like a son to me. I don't have to tell you. You know how much I love you.
Thank you.
I didn't
Thank
know
you, Judge.
Jerry, I didn't know Jerry and Michael, but I'm so happy to meet them now. They're going to be my friends for the rest of my life. I don't know how long they're going to be around, but they're going to be my friends.
You got a lot. You're going to be around forever, Judge. You're going to be around forever.
That means a lot, and I feel the same way about you and Jerry meeting you.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure. Yeah, absolutely.
An absolute pleasure. And I think we can all say, from everybody on this call, I don't believe this is the last time we'll be all getting together. So.
Oh, that's good, John.
Yep. But
Happy
it will
250.
be. Yep. Happy 250 to Judge, Jerry, Michael. Happy 250 America. Biggest birthday. I just don't know if we have we don't have a knife to cut a cake that big. So.
All right.
Listen, everybody, thank you so much for joining. And
Bye,
have
everybody.
a great rest of your day. Happy 250 to all.
Happy 250.
Happy
Bye.
250. Take care.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.